Right, we are live. 18 weeks of going live every Sunday, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. A little late today, so hopefully people will still join today. I had a customer right at 3, so I had to obviously help him first. Customer's a little more important, but I am finished up with them, and we'll see who jumps on. Hopefully the audio is coming through a little bit better. If you're new here or you're watching this as a replay, I go live every Sunday, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we talk all things RVs, and it's a great way for you to kind of learn the differences between different travel trailers. You can look at different layouts. If you can hear me, let me know. My audio last week was terrible, so let me know if it's coming through nice and crisp. But we'll wait till a few people come on. If you're watching this as a replay, I go live every Sunday, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And so if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe, because that allows you to ask questions on here. I get about 200 subscribers a week, so I like to come on here and answer any questions, because I know it's a big landscape when it comes to all these different brands, build styles, and stuff like that. So it's been going pretty good. We usually get a good group of people on here that start to ask questions. If you do want to see the questions that the people are asking, just it usually takes about 24 hours for the comments to come up as a replay. So if you go down to the comment section, there'll be 2 dots. You could slide it over to the side, and then you'll see all the comments from the subscribers that were on the live. If you are watching this as a replay, the HD usually takes about 24 hours, but lately it's been coming through pretty clear. Let me know if my audio sounds nice and crisp compared to last week. Oh, last week the audio was messed up and it drove me crazy. So let's jump on the golf cart. Same thing as we always do. I like to start off with, a Catalina, and then work our way up to more premium trailers to kind of show you the difference. So that way when you go out to dealerships, you kind of know what to look for. Let me know if my audio is coming through. Ooh, it's getting a little cold out right now. Got my jacket. Awesome. So it's coming through good. Like is it actually my microphone? Because sometimes it test. Last week, it drove me nuts. I even went home. I lost sleep over it. I can't stand when the audio isn't coming through nice and clear. The lives, it's not as clear as like my normal long form tours, but as long as the audio is good, you guys can get the information. If you are new here, I usually do these lives every week, but I also do long form tours, and they are extremely in depth. Like, I measure every single thing out. I also talk about every option and feature. So if any of these trailers that we're looking at today you end up liking, just remember the model number and then type into YouTube Tyler Talks Travel Trailers and then the model number, and then you'll be able to see, the more in-depth tour of each one. But we're just gonna kind of cruise through this. I didn't really have a chance to plan any of this because I had a customer, but let's start off with the Catalina. I like to start off with some smaller stuff. We'll look at a couple of these Catalinas, and I'll kind of explain the differences for you guys. All right, and feel free to ask any questions you have and request any type of trailer you want to look at. We have some motorhomes, but we kind of stick to more of the tow behinds, but I could show you that. I got fifth wheels, toy haulers, all that good stuff. So let me turn you around real quick. So like always, we're going to start with the Catalina, work our way up, show you some different options. This is going to be more of your traditional stick and tin build. A lot of people will say it's not the smooth side. So you'll have fiberglass. We'll talk about that. Like always, I always tell you guys, just open up a compartment and you will be able to see the wood framing in there. And then you have your metal siding on the exterior. So let's jump inside. I like this. This is a nice layout. This is perfect. This is all I need. This is going to be, let's see, your length is going to be 16 feet total, and all the lengths I'm telling you will be like including the front. Your dry weight is 2,600 pounds, and your cargo carrying capacity is 1,664 pounds. So I've always explained it. I explain it in every video. When you're looking at trailers, definitely check the cargo carrying capacity, GVWR, and the dry weight. Because sometimes the cargo weight is just so crazy that you'll be looking at the GVWR and you're like, I can't tow this. You'll probably put about 800 pounds of cargo, probably 600 pounds in something like this. I do like Catalinas because they have all name brand appliances. So you got GE appliances throughout, including your microwave. even your air conditioner. And I'm very impressed with these GE air conditioners. They're actually quieter than like the Nobo air conditioners. So these GE air conditioners work pretty good. They also have a heat pump in them. So if you want to use this as a heater, it'll also heat this area up. If it's super cold, it'll kind of cut the chill. You'll definitely want the gas furnace as well. So whenever you're looking at trailers, always ask the sales guy, does it have a gas furnace? Because some brands, they'll just do an electric heater, and that's going to not be good if you have to run a generator just to, you know, heat up your trailer. And yes, I always explain it. We did have someone go to the bathroom in a trailer. It was a smaller child, so can't get too mad at the guy. He actually went to the bathroom. It just not supposed to go in the brand new trailer. So GE appliances throughout. Nice little trailer. It even has the dinette. I kind of prefer the dinette over the couch, and I'll show you one with the couch. I think this is a little better setup because of the size. And then this will convert into a bed, so if you have the occasional guest. And then you do have your east-west facing bed. Sometimes that's a deal breaker for people because then you have to roll over each other, or making the bed, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But this is, you're looking at $23,226 down to $13,995. And then you got your weights and stuff right there. I'll talk more about pricing when we move on to other trailers and we get more people on here. I have a feeling we're not going to have as much action today because I started late, so everyone's probably thinking I canceled. But you do have your 12-volt refrigerator as well. So one thing to keep in mind is all of these trailers now are pretty much coming with 12-volt refrigerators. They're amazing, but they work off the battery. So you're definitely going to want like a solar panel. This does not have solar on the roof. So it would be something that would probably be good to add. That way it's constantly keeping those batteries recharged for the refrigerator. You can also buy like little solar panels that clip on to the battery up in the front. They're pretty inexpensive. Those are nice options too, because really all you need it for is to charge your batteries to run your lights. The only thing you'll need a generator for is your air conditioner and your TV. Pretty much everything else will run as it should if you're out boondocking. So you're not going to get a ladder. It is prepped, fully walk on roof. I think that's always something nice to, you know, put on the list of things you want to do with your trailer, because you want to get up there, make sure everything's good. Also, this is going to be a little bit different than a fiberglass trailer. I explain it every week. So the smooth sided, a lot of times those are laminated walls. This is going to be a hung wall. Hey, Mike, glad you made it. This is going to be a hung wall. So it's like a house. The nice thing about the hung wall is you're not going to have to worry about delamination. So when the walls start to separate, that's what you're kind of wanting to avoid. So there's pros and cons to both. Also, this metal siding is a lot easier to replace. So if you damage one portion of it, you know, maybe you hit this side of the trailer, you can replace that one piece. Whereas on a fiberglass trailer, you're going to have to replace the entire wall. So pros and cons to both. The fiberglass, there is better ways to build the fiberglass trailers, and I'll go through the different ways that companies will build them that will help with delamination. So delamination meaning just the walls are separating. You do have outdoor speakers, and it does have the LED lights, and they do change like 25 different colors with the power awning and the leash link in case someone's acting up. And down below, there's another thing you can consider when you're buying an RV or a travel is, do you want, let's see, good day yesterday, Bears versus Bears. Yeah. Okay, so look, see how all of tanks are exposed? You want to consider, do you want an extended season trailer? And that means, do you want that underbelly enclosed? And there's really like 3 ways that you can have your underbelly heated. Is you could have radiant heat, you can have like a duct going underneath and blowing hot air under there, or you could have the 12-volt heat pads, and I'll explain those differences later. So this one will obviously not have that enclosed underbelly, but it's something you can always add too. So if you're wanting to save a little money when you buy your first RV, you can always upgrade these things. So kind of see what you like and don't like. And then it does have the off-road tires. It does have the solid steps. I do like that considering the price point. This has a 44-gallon fresh water tank. That is really good for a 16-foot trailer. And then small little details too that people kind of don't notice is, you know, it won't have the electric tongue jack. You can add one of those maybe for like $350. You will only get one propane tank and it won't have the cover. Another thing is when you're looking at this price point, at most dealerships, This price point will not come with the spare tire. I know. So just keep an eye out for that. Make sure you get that spare tire in case you get a flat. Let's move on to the next one. We're starting to get more people on here. If you're just joining, I had a customer at 3, so I had to obviously take care of them. That is priority. But always, every Sunday, if I don't go live at 3, I will try to go live until 4. So if it's past 4, then that usually means that the live will be canceled. Let's look at this little Catalina over here. I really like this layout. The owner of Albuquerque RV helped design this layout, and it's nice because it's not super long, but it has a really big slide out on it. So if you noticed on the other trailer, it did not have a slide out. And there's a lot of different slide systems, and I'll kind of discuss that too as we work our way into different brands. So you got your slide right there. So a little pop out, you could decide if you want that or not. A lot of people get kind of worried because of all the forums out there. They have these slides pretty dialed in. For the most part, I tell people if you can tow it, you might as well get a slide until you see the Flagstaff without the slide. That thing is amazing. So check this out. We'll look in here, make sure to see how the storage is. This is going to be a couples coach. Really good storage. So it has pass-through storage. What I like too is it's already wired for 600 watts of solar. So that's cool. It'll make it easy because like I said, it has the 12-volt refrigerator. So you're going to probably want to add solar eventually if the trailer does not have it. So let's jump inside. So this is going to be the 184 MKS. You are looking at 4,198 pounds and 23 feet 1 inch with 1,300 pounds of cargo. I hope the audio is coming better this week, guys. Last week drove me nuts. Like I said, I lost sleep over it. And then I went on my run after work and I was just so fixated on it. I wasn't paying attention when I was running and I rolled my ankle so bad. I was in bed for like 3 days. But I'm kind of limping around now, so if you see that I'm kind of moving funny, that's probably why. So pretty nice layout. The slide out goes almost the whole length of the trailer. Awesome. I'm hoping it sounds better because I was going to delete that video and then I was like, I'll just keep it up. So now if you notice too, the refrigerator on the last one, you were only getting, the bottom fridge. So always something to consider. So when you're out looking, I kind of personally would like to have the separate freezer because the freezer you get in the other refrigerators, it's just like a real small thing. You can't really put anything in it. And again, all GE appliances throughout with the heat pump in that air conditioner. You have your 4-seater dinette that will convert into a bed, which is pretty nice. And then the couch also will turn into a bed. Then you got your east-west facing bed. Catalina, if you go onto their website and you look at it, it says queen bed. That is not true. I don't know why they put queen bed. They should just do the measurements. I think it's like 54 by 70 or something, like a wonky size. So always, look out for that because sometimes the manufacturers they'll say king bed and then it's like the weirdest king ever. Really nice storage. I do like this pantry space. Storage goes quick in RVs. So I'm going to be showing you stuff all the way to the small little details of how your cabinetry closes. See how these have the rolly pins? Sometimes you need to replace these because they start to stretch out over time. And when we move up into different brands, they actually use magnets. So small little details that these companies will do to kind of bring that price down. But I do like the cabinetry. It's not really cheap. Sometimes you'll see cabinetry hanging off the wall and they're brand new trailers. So all glued and screwed cabinetry. So it's solid. Doesn't really make that boing noise when you open it. A lot of times they'll staple a lot of these trailers together and it's just really cheap. So Catalina is not an entry-level trailer by any means, but it's a nice one to start with, at least at our lot. A little bit of counter space. And you got a plastic toilet. You can always upgrade those to porcelain. It's not a big deal. And I'm talking even the shower enclosure, the shower surrounding. If you noticed on last trailer, it didn't have that surrounding. So you want to make sure you wipe the walls off after you shower, or you can add it later. So a lot of little things to pay attention to when you're out at the dealership. You're deciding, what trailer you end up wanting to buy. So it does have that shower surrounding. And we don't even get a fart fan on this one. That's weird. Okay. As we move up, you will see the bigger one. But overall, nice layout. Let's see what the price is. Oh man, someone must have took the tag out. I think this one's around like 26, 24 roughly is the sell price. And I think MSRP is like in the 30s. But I do like the stove tops in all of these Catalinas too, because it's nice and flush with the floor, the countertop. I get a lot of complaints from customers. You know, they'll buy like a Coleman lantern, and the stove top is kind of like off the counter, and they complain that when you're cooking and stuff, you have to worry about your pots and pans sliding off. So small little detail. I'm just kind of relaying what I hear from customers that they don't like on their current trailer. A little bit of storage up here, but nice layout. So we are still at a traditional, you know, stick and tin build, wood framed, and I wanted to show you, yeah, this is perfect right here, look. So just to show you an example. So now we are on the smooth-sided trailer, but it's the same brand. It's still Catalina. So what is the difference? It's still gonna be wood framed. Let's double check just so that way I'm not making something up. You see? So it's still all wood framed underneath, but it has the fiberglass smooth-sided wall. So you got to pay attention to that, because some people get that a little confused. They think if it's, you know, fiberglass, it'll be aluminum framed. It'll still also be a hung wall on this one. So very similar build. The nice thing about fiberglass is you don't have to worry about like hail damage. So if you get bad storms where you live, your trailer won't look like a golf ball. And then on this one, you know, potential to get hail damage. And then also on the flip side, your fiberglass does tend to fade a little more when, you know, especially out here in New Mexico, the sun is terrible. So pros and cons to both. Just like I said, delamination, you'll have potential problems with maybe on like the smooth sided, where this you will not. Let's move on to another one. Turn you around. I'm about to go on my weekend, and we got Christmas off, so I think I'll get like a 4-day weekend. It's gonna be much needed. I'm ready for next year. These videos take a lot of work, and it was getting exhausting. So a little break. I might not do any tours next week. I probably won't be able to do a live that Sunday, but we'll see. So let's check this one out. So let's keep going actually. Go to another one. I already showed you that one. Let's show you a big bunkhouse for anyone out there looking for bunk beds. They'll still be good info because they're going to be built very similarly. Let's back up. Let's go to this one right here. Hey, Joe. Merry Christmas. Thank you for jumping on. I had to start a little late today because I had a customer. Of course, I had to help them first. Like I was saying earlier, if you go on to my YouTube and you notice I'm not live at 3, just know I will, once I'm done with the customer, I will immediately go live as soon as I finish. If it's past 4 and I'm not live, then that means I'm too busy and I have a customer. So just keep that in mind. Or you could put a notification on too for YouTube, and then you'll see. So let's check this bad boy out. 281 QB. Let me turn the lights on. All right. So this is going to be a bigger bunkhouse, and this is going to be 36 feet 2 inches, 7,593 pounds, and your cargo is 2,065. You can also get an outdoor kitchen on your trailer. They do them a lot on bunkhouses, but there is some couples coaches that you can also get the outdoor kitchen. So this might be something you want on your trailer. They do it for couples coaches as well. Some people are like, I don't need it. I just bring a grill along, but it's pretty nice. Thank you, David. Yeah, I want a couple days off. Last year we got like a week and a half off. It was crazy. This year we're kind of having to work a little more this holiday. I think we get like 2 days off for Christmas, and then we got New Year's, and then we are in 2026. How insane is that? So channel's grown a lot since then. Started at 0. Some of you guys have been here since the beginning. So I already told you the length on this. If you do want an outdoor kitchen, they do make it for the couples coaches. I kind of like it. I think I would want one just because, you know, you're not cooking so much inside. Because sometimes, you know, you get a used trailer and people are really cooking stuff in it, and it's just like a smell you cannot get out. That is one downside to buying used, is sometimes it's stuck with a smell you can't get out. So pretty nice layout. It's all the same features and options, just, you know, a little bigger. I think this does have an enclosed underbelly. Kansas City in the house. Thank you, James. It's crazy. I have like 6 or 7 Jameses live, so makes it a little easy. You're buying in January. Awesome. Looking for a smaller but spacious inside. 2 places to sleep. Awesome. Yeah. I don't know. January. That's coming up. Almost time to get a trailer. So pretty nice layout for the whole family. Your bathroom is over here. What do they call that? Jack and Jill? Or no, that's not what it's called. What is it called when it's like a side door to the bedroom? Pretty decent shower. Now, does this have a tankless water heater? Because I could talk about tankless with you guys too while we're doing this. Pretty good size bedroom. If this is your first live, let me know. I like when I get new people on here. Some of you guys are regulars. Probably, I don't even know why you come on. You're sick of hearing my voice, my terrible jokes. Just kind of trying to mix it up a little bit because I don't show too many bunkhouses. But if we go outside, we will check. Let me do the price real quick just so you can see this. Oh, I'll talk about pricing real quick because that's very important. Jack and Jill. Yeah, I thought so. So usually when you come onto our lot, you will know this beforehand because you'll come into my office and I'll explain the pricing just so you're not surprised outside. So there's 2 ways dealerships basically will price a trailer, and this is why you see such a big variation in pricing. It's very confusing to people. Some dealerships, and I've worked at both styles of dealerships. One dealership, you know, they'll hide the fees into the price, and then they'll advertise no fees. So they'll usually add prep and freight into the price, and then like I said, they'll advertise no fees. And then there's dealerships that actually itemize every single thing you're paying for. I kind of like being transparent and showing you exactly what you're paying for, whereas versus if you go to a dealership that hides it, you don't really know. So their prices do tend to be a little higher. So what I always tell you guys is basically just call the dealership. Compared to if you're trying to get the best deals, tell them you want a buyer's order and just go with the one that has the best out the door price. Is my mic okay? Let me know. I hope it's coming through. Am I still sounding good? So here at this dealership, you'll usually see this in my office, so you'll know beforehand, but since you're not here, I kind of want to show this. So as we do pricing, you'll know. Let me know if my audio is coming through. So you got your MSRP down to $35,995. And then we itemize the prep and freight. So depending on what style of trailer you get, the prep is $17.95 and then the freight is $19.95. These are all real costs. It's just whether the dealership is showing you it or hiding in the price and saying no fees, or if they itemize. I want to be as transparent as possible so you know exactly what you're paying for. Then you'll have your 4% tax. The prep, a lot of people are like, well, why isn't it inspected before I even take it? The reason is because it's not linked to any customer yet. So there's this big giant list of things that the technicians have to go through. And what they do is they send that form into Forest River and you sign it when you're doing the financing. And basically that's what activates your manufacturer warranty to your name. And then also it'll include 1 battery, fill in the propane tanks, of course, cleaning and detailing, and then a walkthrough orientation to show you how everything works. Now, there's a caveat to this. So when you go look at trailers, if you look at a used one, they should not be adding prep and freight. The only time you would add the prep is if you wanted that used trailer to be inspected. So a lot of times people will get the inspection because you just want to make sure that the used trailer is working okay. You know, you want to make sure your air conditioner is good, your fridge, all that stuff. If you don't get the prep, here at Albuquerque RV, we will still do a safety check on it. So we'll check the tires. We will check, the gas lines, make sure they're safe. The owner here is actually really cool about it from a customer standpoint, because the other day I sold a used trailer and I gave him a smoking deal on it. And then the techs noticed that the tires they just looked really bad. They weren't safe. The owner went and replaced all the tires. So a lot of dealerships won't do that. They'll say, hey, the tires aren't good. You know, do you want to buy tires and then we could put them on? So here we take pretty good care of our customers. Now this does have, let's check. I think this has an enclosed underbelly. It does not. So this one is all exposed. And sometimes, even if it's enclosed, it doesn't mean that it's like a true like 4-season trailer or extended season. Sometimes it's just like a protective barrier. See that? So this doesn't have a heater going down there or a 12-volt heat pad. So you got to be careful, even though it's enclosed underneath. Just kind of look for stickers on the sidewalls where it'll say like polar package or extended season. This will still help a little bit, but look at how, see how it's not like anything crazy. So you still got to be careful. Just keep that in mind when you're out looking at RVs, because some sales guys, they'll be like, yeah, it's extended season because the underbelly is enclosed, and that doesn't mean it's always extended season. Okay. Oh, we dropped the prices a lot on all of our surveyors. Like some of them, I think we dropped it like $5 grand. So I'll be sure to show you pricing on these surveyors because they have some good discounts right now. Especially on, I even told them, I was like, dang, this is a big discount for one of the trailers that we sell a lot of, you know, so we're kind of aggressive on our pricing right now because we have so much inventory coming in. We got to make room for that incoming inventory. So if you're wanting a good deal, now's the time. Let's see, we will turn around right here. We basically dropped the price on all the surveyors. So I'll show you guys a couple of the ones that a lot of you guys like, because it'll be a good deal for sure. All right. And always just call me if you want pricing. We already have it set up. I already spoke to my manager and the owner. You know, we'll try to take extra care of you. We'll give you the YouTube family discount. So this is a nice layout that we dropped the price on, and I will turn you around. So now we are at the smooth-sided trailer, which is going to be your fiberglass. Remember that Catalina I showed you was a wood framed. Now we're jumping up to this. Yes, it's smooth-sided, but it's going to be that aluminum framing, meaning the roof, floor, front wall, back wall, both side walls are all aluminum. A lot of companies will actually mix it with wood. So you really want to ask the sales guys, is it 6-sided? Because sometimes it'll be the roof wood or the sidewalls aluminum wood. So they'll mix it. This will be a true 6-sided aluminum frame trailer. Now, the difference between that Catalina fiberglass trailer and this one is this is going to be a laminated, it's not a hung wall. So the nice thing about Surveyor is they actually use a method called vacuum bonding. So they actually vacuum bond these fiberglass walls, whereas some companies, they do it a little cheaper. That is one way that companies will say, oh yeah, we can get you a fiberglass trailer for way less. But what they do is they use the method called pinch and roll. So that what they'll do is they'll put the walls together, run it through a press, and you know, you got to imagine those rollers, eventually they do have to change those. And I always say, what if your wall is the last trailer going through those rollers? Also, there's potential that pockets of air could be trapped in there when they use the pinch and roll method, whereas the vacuum bonding, they literally suck all the air out of the walls and compress it at a very high pressure, and then that's how you know that there's absolutely no way to have pockets of air stuck in the walls, which will be, it'll make it delaminate basically, which is when the walls separate. Another way that they make these walls is it'll be fiberglass, then Luan, or it'll be a composite material. The Luan is just wood. And of course, what happens when wood gets wet, it starts to deteriorate, starts to get moldy, and then you definitely have delamination. I would prefer a composite material behind that fiberglass, and these do have that. So when you're out looking at trailers, just 20.2, I will have to check. I say it every live. I don't know why I cannot remember the Nobo models, but we'll check. So this has the composite wall. So it'll go the fiberglass, then your composite material. So 2 ways to improve a fiberglass trailer to not get delamination is going to be a vacuum bonded wall and composite walls behind that fiberglass. Now this is going to be the 19 RBLE, nice little short couples coach coming in at 4,229 pounds and 23 feet 7 inches. Your cargo is going to be 1,403. And I'll be showing you the pricing on all this just because we did drop the price significantly. If you are new here, leave a comment. I love to know when I have some new people on the lives. I say it every week. I get to work and I'm like, I'm not going to go live this Sunday. No one's going to come on. They heard my spiel the last 18 weeks. So if you're new, let me know. This does have a 60 by 80 queen size bed. So another thing to consider is a lot of times they'll have RV queens. The 60 by 80 is nice because you can go out and get yourself a nice mattress, because it don't matter how much you spend, these mattresses kind of suck. So being able to go out and get a nice mattress, maybe a topper, you don't have to go get a custom mattress when it's 60 by 80. Sometimes it'll be 60 by 74. So it'll be just a little bit shorter. You got your hanging wardrobes right here. So now we are moving up into a Surveyor, and the nice thing about that is you get a couple more features and options. This will have solar. So now we're getting solar, and you're going to get 400 watts of solar on this one. Usually it'll be 200 watts, but this one for a limited time they did 400 watts. So now you'll be able to have your batteries constantly recharging, and you won't have to worry about your fridge draining those batteries, and it'll just constantly keep those going. TV's not in a bad spot. Kind of. Not terrible. You could turn it. That's not bad. So this is from the couch, and then you could turn it that way. This will have a SwinTech slide, and I'll show you when we go outside. It'll have those little squigglies, and I show this every week because I like to point this out, because a lot of you guys, when you go out and look, you just be sure to sit on everything. Sounds goofy, but you want to make sure you're comfortable, because look at this. Because it's a SwinTech slide, see that little step up right there? I'm 5'7", and this isn't a big deal to me because I like that it makes the recliner a little longer, but see, if I go all the way back, kind of hanging a little bit. But I do like it because it makes this longer. So with the SwinTech slide, you will have that little step up on the slide system, and I'll show you some different ones where that changes. Got some decent storage right here, and it's cool because it has the road vac also. So some trailers will have different features and options, some won't have it, but this will have that road vac, and then you lift that up and then there's a dustpan, and then you have all the hose attachments right there. It looks like your furnace is right here. It is not a ducted one, but these furnaces are extremely good. Now, when I say extended season, mainly what you're kind of concerned about when people say that is you want to, basically what you're wanting to accomplish is you don't want your tanks to freeze. Pretty much in all of the trailers I showed you, unless you're like in Alaska in the wintertime or Gunnison, Colorado in the wintertime, you're going to be really warm in these. You're most likely going to be able to use these year round with the heater and be warm in it. The main thing is you just don't want your tanks to freeze. So that's what you're trying to accomplish when people say extended season. Then you get up to like a true 4 season. Some sales guys will get that really confused and they'll say, yeah, it's 4 season. When it's like a true 4 season, the river stones that we have, they'll have like 3-inch walls. They'll also have like thermopaned windows. Usually at this price point, you're not going to be getting like thermopaned windows. So now we have those 12-volt heat pads. So every tank has a 12-volt heat pad. I like this because you just flip a switch and it'll prevent your tanks from freezing. And then if you're not in the trailer, you don't have to keep your heater running the whole time you're not in it. You could just have these on. So that's why I like this a little bit more than, you know, the duct going under and having to put your heater on, because I don't think you could go down the road with your heater on, and it'd be nice to have your tanks filled and not have to worry about them freezing. So definitely I'd pick the 12-volt heat pads. Then I'd pick the heated underbelly where the duct is going, and then radiant heat. I just would kind of avoid the radiant heat. And we're getting the big fart fan now. But overall, really nice layout. Let's see what the price is on this. I just put these tags in here. So I think this one was like around like 34, 33. You can watch my last videos and you'll see I'm being serious about the discounts. So it was originally 42 and we have it down to 28,995. That's a good price on a fiberglass trailer, and it's a 2025. So if you don't care about the year, they didn't really change anything on the 26s, but nice layout. Let's move on to a next one. All right. These will have PVC roofs. And then some will have TPO. I don't think it's a huge difference. They're all pretty good now. All the roofs are good. And then I'll show you what to look for. So this is a slide system that is a SwinTech slide. See how it has a little squigglies? So there's different ways to use these slides or things to pay attention to when you use these slides. This slide system, you have to put it all the way out or all the way in. You do not want to stop halfway. Also, this slide system, you do not lubricate it. Sometimes people spray stuff on it, and then that's when you get like dirt, debris, and stuff getting stuck in those little squiggles. So this type of slide system, you do not lubricate, and you also want to make sure you put it in and out completely. You'll see a lot of forums about these Schwintek slides, and then I get people that come in like worried, and I explain it every time. The reason you're seeing like people complain about Schwintek is back in the day they were using that slide system on fifth wheels like this big, on massive slide outs, and it is just way too big of a slide for that slide system. So nowadays you'll always notice these the Schwintek slide will be on small slides, smaller trailers, smaller slides, so they're pretty dialed in now. Don't be too worried with those forums. Turn you around real quick. You got any questions? You want to see anything? Just let me know. All right, let's move on to the next one. I'm going to show you a couple of these because of the discounts. Show you what good deals we got. Just remember the prep and freight on that, and then you'll get the. Oh, my girlfriend said there's a little weenie dog in the front yard. Tell her to go rescue it. So you will get our sales tax. I always do this spiel, but you can get our sales tax without having a physical address here, which is 4%. So you will still register. It'll still be registered to your physical address, but it's a loophole. It's called the Sunshine Law, and there will be a video down below in the description if you want to learn more about that. But most likely I'll discuss it more in this video because a lot of people don't know about it, and it's because I'm the only YouTuber in New Mexico. So of course you're not going to hear other reviewers telling you how you can save a lot of money. Let me turn you around real quick. This will be a 2026 versus the 25. Literally the only thing they changed was they gave you that fancy emblem, whereas on the 25 you don't get that. So like I said, if you don't care about the year, they don't really change much. I love this layout. Actually, a lot of people really like this layout. The 202 RBLE. Limited time, you got 400 watts solar. This does only have an inverter prep. So I'll pause right here if you want to screenshot any of this. This is going to be the Legend. So the Legend, and then you have the Grand Surveyor, which is basically their bigger one. And then you can see all the construction right there. This is going to be 5,277. Why do I get an accent every time I do that? 5,277 pounds, 25 feet 1 inch, and 2,182 pounds of cargo. That is crazy. So I always explain it. Check that cargo weight, check the dry weight, check the tongue, check all of them. Inverter prep. So like when we go to a Flagstaff, those will have the inverter. And what's cool is it'll make all your outlets hot. So like a lot of your outlets will be able to work without being plugged into a generator or shore power. If you get a big enough, power package, you can actually run the air conditioner. And they'll probably kill me for saying this, but I'm not really a fan of the power package. And you'll see it. It's like a little, there'll be a little emblem on the manufacturer website, and it'll say power package. They basically put enough solar and inverter to run your air conditioner. And it just, sometimes it can't keep up with the amount of power you're using. So I had one customer, I felt so bad for her because I told her, I said, yeah, this thing will run everything. And she was living in it, and it ended up only lasting about 3 hours because of how much power she was using all at once. It couldn't keep up with it. So I ended up giving her a generator. So if it were me, the best way to go is just get the generator, and then you're not gonna have to worry at all. And you're not spending like $8 grand for the power package. So nice layout. I love the interior of Surveyors. It's got that, would that be called live edge? It's pretty nice. You got the bar top, decent size, with the bar stools. Very feng shui right there. North-south facing bed. Same size. And now look, see, your slide is now a rack and pinion slide system. So there is no step up on the floor. And I will show you, look at how much better this is. Like I'm 5'7", my feet. But it does make this a little bit shorter. So your feet kind of hang off of the extension right there, but your feet will be touching the floor. Some people, it's not a big deal. I just like to point that out for you. You got your TV trays right there that do come out, and then cup holders for those cold snacks. I like when the middle goes up because if you want to cuddle up, you can move it up. Nice placement of the TV. Overall, really great layout. And then they even give you some nice wall art. I almost like the interior of Surveyor more than Flagstaff. But I do like Flagstaff because they keep it they keep it classy. And what I like is that it's not going to go out of style. Some of these companies do some crazy things, and they put too much glitter, putting lipstick on a pig, and then it goes out of style. Flagstaff and Surveyor, I think they do a really good job at just making sure, you know, when you pay it off, you're still going to love it. So nice bathroom. The bathroom is a little bit tighter. Yeah, there you go. And like sometimes even like you can run your microwave with some of these inverters, but it is a nice option to have. I probably would want one. So this isn't terrible. I'm not like the biggest dude ever. I'm working on it though. We'll do the Hunter RV thing. He's a good guy. He reached out to me. He's such a humble guy. He reached out to me when I first started my channel, and I was at like 1,000 subscribers or 500. He called the dealership and just wanted to tell me how good of a job I was doing. Like, how nice of a guy can you be? I thought it was super cool. So I'm a big fan of the RV Hunter. Such a good guy. Maybe I'll meet him someday. So check out the price on this bad boy. Ooh, this one is a little bit more, but still good discounts. See how much of a good deal that last one was? The last one was $28,000. And it doesn't have anything different, really. It's just, this is a 26, so like maybe the color schemes are a little cooler, I guess. But down to $37,995, and then you got your big undermount sink. Notice how I'm saying that right now. They advertise it as a farm style sink. And then you got your faucet right here that you can pull down. It's got that waterfall spout, or just down like this. But yeah, nice layout. Let's go on to another one. We'll definitely do some Nobos as well. We're kind of short on Nobos right now. That is probably the hottest seller this year. It's crazy. Usually I sell a lot of like Surveyors and Flagstaffs. Price point of Surveyor is great because if you want the good construction, this is an awesome option. But if you want like a little more features and options, that's when you'll jump up to a Flagstaff. Like one example is if you want a suspension. So this is just your standard leaf spring. You know, it's not bad. It might bounce around a little bit more, but as we move up to different trailers, you'll notice it'll come with the suspension. Then you got your enclosed underbelly. Pretty nice. Okay. And I'll show you the slide system real quick. Nice day out. It's probably cold where you're at, Diane. I think last time you said it was like freezing temps. So this is your rack and pinion slide system. So if you notice right here, it's also called a through frame slide. So see how it's going through the frame of the trailer? This one is when you lubricate. So they sell the spray in the shop that we have, and then that's basically what you do is you'll spray some lubricant on it and you are good to go. The nice thing about this slide system is you could put it out partially, you know? So if there's an area to the trailer that you want to just get to real quick, you won't mess anything up by putting these out partially. Another thing you always want to be careful with slides is you always want to make sure this isn't happening. So anytime, see if I can get it, you want to make sure these, I think this one is a 23 degrees. Dang, that's cold. So you always want to make sure these are nice and flush because that's how you end up getting water in there. One thing customers do is they'll put baby powder inside of a sock, and then you can just like put it all on your seals right here, and it'll make sure that your slide goes out nice and smooth and you don't have this happening right here. But yeah, always make sure that's all good. It's always a good idea to get on the roof, make sure there's no debris up there. And you can get slide toppers as well. If you don't know what a slide topper is, basically it's like an awning for your slide out. So when you put your slide out, the little awning will come out over top of it. And the nice thing is you don't have to worry about like getting up there and getting the sticks off, the leaves, all that stuff. It'll just fall off as you put your slide in. So it's a pretty nice feature. We don't order it with it here because it's really windy on the top of this hill and we don't want them to, you know, tear. It does have a receiver on the back that will hold 300 pounds if you want to put a cargo rack. And then I always show it. See these steps? Very nice steps because they touch the floor. But if you notice, these ones just plop down. That's going to change as we move up into different trailers. All right, let's see. Does this have an outdoor kitchen? Ooh, it's got the fridge. Sometimes these fridges aren't going to be 12 volt. So just keep that in mind, because it'd be nice if it was 12 volt, because then it'll run when you're out in the middle of nowhere. And you can always tell too, because it'll have a sticker, but this one does not. Oh man, so I'm not totally sure if this one is. If you know, let me know. Then this comes out, and it does come with a little griddle that hooks on. So pretty nice feature. My girlfriend is going crazy about this wiener dog. I'm just getting constant text messages of pictures of this wiener dog. So pretty cool feature. I kind of like the outdoor kitchen. Flagstaff actually took it away on their 26 models. Boo. It's like, man, come on. You're supposed to be giving us more stuff, not less. You got your outside shower, hot and cold water, Goodyear endurance tires. So, you know, we call them China bombs when they're not like a good quality tire. I like that they give you this. And then also it'll have a sensor around the rim. And then you'll get a little screen in your tow vehicle, and it'll kind of monitor your tires if they're getting too hot, too cold, too low, too hot. And then just so you don't get blowouts. All right, now we're up to 2 propane tanks with the electric tongue jack and the cover. So a lot of little things you're getting as you move up in price point. What did we start? I think that one Catalina I showed you was like around 25,000. So if you think about it, that Surveyor for 28,900 is not looking bad, because think about the upgrades you're getting in that. You're getting an extended season trailer. It's going to be aluminum framed. It's got the composite walls. That's a good deal. There's one trailer on the lot I don't think we're going to sell. This Catalina down there, it's kind of a lot for what it is, but let's turn around. And you know what? I haven't shown you guys E-Pros a lot lately. We'll do a no-bow real quick, because I like to go in order of what I think like the features and options in construction are. They kind of go up and fancy. So we'll look at a no-bow. Like I said, I don't have a ton of them here right now, so a lot of these you're going to see that I showed last week. But no-bow is actually under the umbrella of Ibex, obviously no-bow, R-Pod, probably the Unmapped, and Surveyor. So if you notice, all of these will be very similar like color schemes, other than the green. The green's cool, I like it. Looks good. Looks good. All right. Let's turn you around. This is a cool layout because it's short, but they gave you an 8-foot wide box, which is not very common on these smaller no-bows. Usually they're about 7.5 feet wide, and it literally feels like a dance floor in there. It's tons of room. So if you have pets, this is a nice option. So now we are moving up to the beast mode package, baby. And just so you know, you can order this without the beast mode. So it'd basically just be a Surveyor. If you like the color scheme and stuff and you really want it, you're basically getting a Surveyor without the beast mode. And I'll show you what else you lose, but check this thing out. What? It's so goofy on the manufacturer website. They say it's racing inspired. Why would you? Some of the verbiage they use on these is funny. So you got the Kurt independent suspension. As you notice, there's no axle there. So you don't have to worry about rocks and boulders if hitting that axle. It'll also help the frame of the trailer significantly, so that all that stress isn't being transferred into the frame of the trailer. We always say it in this industry, it's like a tornado, hurricane, and earthquake all at once when you're going down the road. These things, they do tend to get a lot of stress on them, so that suspension is really going to help. And I always tell you guys this, sometimes this might be overkill for some of the people out there. Like, you may not need this. It might be better for you just to get a normal road tire if you're not going super off-road, because you'll get better fuel mileage when it's that road tire. It might not be as loud, won't bounce around as much. So just kind of decide what kind of camping you are going to be doing in this trailer. If you're just going to be going to KOAs, you may just want to get this trailer without the beast mode. And if you do that, you lose a little bit of stuff. So this is the beast mode package. And then you have your standard C series. So basically the only thing you're not getting if you don't get the beast mode is you're getting 400 watts of solar and a 2000 watt inverter with the beast mode. And you're getting obviously the suspension. If you don't go with this, you only get 200 watts of solar and it's prepped for a 2000 watt inverter. So it's really, you're really paying for the suspension and some of the solar that you can get. Look at how much room this thing has. It's hard to tell on camera, but it's so much space. Really nice layout if you have dogs. And now you're seeing you got that Schwinn Tech slide, the step up. Really nice layout. So I'm just here to be the messenger, and I like to tell you what I hear out in the industry. I've explained this a lot. They don't do this sync anymore on the 26 models because they were having recalls on this little waterfall spout. I have not had a single customer come in with an issue with it, but that's what I heard why they stopped doing it. But I love this sink. You got all the trays, and then like if you don't want to waste water, you could fill just this up. Then I do like the waterfall spout. You can kind of turn it from each point if you want. And then you got your soap dispenser and your cup cleaner. So nice sink. I wouldn't be too worried about it, but that's what I heard in the industry, is that waterfall spout. The green tone is a little bit more intense on the 25 model. I feel like the green in the 26s is like a little bit softer, a little more neutral. You got your love seat right here. These do not recline, but it does fold into a bed, but it is ridiculously small. You're probably going to only be able to sleep like a small child. And then you got your solar. Of course, you got your tank heaters in the no boundaries. So if you want to camp in cold weather, lots of room in this. I do like that they kind of angled that toilet, so that's going to give you a lot more room, a little bit of wiping room. And then you got pretty standard bathroom. Kind of bows a little bit, so it gives you a little bit more shoulder room on that shower curtain, and really good storage in this bathroom. Look at that. Oh, see, remember when I said the magnets? So look at that. So now you got the magnets. You don't ever have to worry about those like getting old and stretching out. And it's very easy to change. So if yours does have the rolly pins, you could just put that on there, get your magnets, but nice storage. Does this thing have, oh, I remember one year they were doing like a little safe in these. It's pretty cool. Nice layout. And right now, all of the trailers I've showed you kind of had a flat roof on the interior. When we get up to a Flagstaff, you'll start getting that rounded roof. Makes it just feel a little bit more spacious. And your 12-volt refrigerator. Bam. All right. I mean, if you're going to get a Nobo, you might as well just get the beast mode. If not, just get a Surveyor, because it might save you a little because you're getting the same trailer. Unless you just absolutely love the green. And then if you notice, this is a 15,000 BTU air conditioner, but it is not ducted, so it will just dump straight from here. A lot of people will be like, oh yeah, the duct doesn't make it any quieter. I think it does help a little bit with the sound of the air conditioner. So just keep that in mind. So let's move on to the next one. Also, one subscriber a couple weeks ago made me realize this doesn't have outdoor speakers. It's different. Some of the other Nobos will. So that's how small little things that they won't put on some of these trailers. So that's why I like to come on these every week. That way you're ready to go when you go out looking at trailers. Let me turn you around real quick. 6-gallon water heater. And you know, sometimes there is pros and cons to tankless and the 6-gallon. The tankless water heaters tend to not do good at high altitude, and we are at high altitude. But like the Catalinas, it's nice. They have an altitude adjustment, so there is ways to kind of combat that. But it sits high. Look at that compared to the Flagstaff next to it. So it will sit a little higher. A lot of these are also single axle. They do have double axles. Any of you guys want to see some bunk beds, just let me know. I just have a lot of subscribers that like those, like the couples coaches. If you want to see some fifth wheels as well, just let me know. Are any of you guys watching this on TV? I've been curious about that. Like if it comes out on the TV or if it's just on the, well, if you're leaving comments, you'd have to be on your phone, right? So if you can't really tell me if you're watching it on TV. Unless you're watching it on your phone and your TV, then you could tell me. But I've been curious about that. I wonder if you can watch it live on TV. Let's go look at a Flagstaff E-Pro, which at one point was like my dream trailer. My dream setup would be like a Tacoma or a Tundra. Ooh, 85-inch TV. And you have my ugly face on the TV. That'd be funny to send a picture. That's funny. That's so weird to me. I never thought I would do this. That's cool. But yeah, my dream setup would be like a Tacoma or a Tundra with a Flagstaff E-Pro. I'll show you the differences. I think actually now that I've kind of sold these for a long time, I think I would go with a microlight because it's just a little bit more roomy. Oh, that's cool. So you can do it. Good to know. I had no idea how to do any of this. This is all just winging it. Let me show you a cool little E-Pro that I never show. I don't know why I never show this thing, but it's a fun little layout. Now we're going up into some significant changes. Maybe not on the E-Pros, but on the microlights it will. Let me turn you around real quick. Hold on. Let's see. Any new people here, let me know. That's always cool to hear if we have new people on the live. A lot of you guys come every week, and I appreciate you guys too. So we are now on, it's like being there. That's what I'm saying. Isn't it cool? I don't know why more reviewers don't do this. It's like you're able to go look at RVs from the comfort of your couch. I love that. That's awesome. Sales is completely changing. If you don't have, like, some of these RV dealerships, a lot of them are older guys. Like they're going to have issues in the future because a lot of people, you know, they shop online on the internet in the beginning and then they come in once they find what they like. So Flagstaff, one of my favorite brands, most of you guys already know that. It's going to go to a Flagstaff E-Pro. Then you got your microlight, then you got your super light, and then you got your classic. The nice thing about Flagstaff is it doesn't matter which one you go with, you're still going to get the same quality of construction. So it's not like a Grand Design where you can get like a Transcend, which is more entry level, and then they're fancier ones. There is some small changes from a Flagstaff E-Pro to a microlight. So I will kind of point that out as we work our way up. Let me turn this on. Ooh, let's see if this works. Hey, Power Pro, turn the lights on.
All of the lights are turned on.
That's not all the way on. What the heck? Hey, Power Pro, turn the lights 100% on.
Oh,
yeah, that's cool.
100%.
I don't know. I'm kind of old school. I like to just push a button, but you can do that on this trailer. Another thing is, so the difference between a microlight and an E-Pro is your underbelly is not enclosed, but it's not too big of a deal. See if I can, it's kind of hard to see it, but underneath, you see that heat pad right there in the middle and the fresh water tank? This does have those 12-volt heat pads, so that's what they look like right there. On the microlight, you will get an enclosed and underbelly and the tank heaters. So this will still be able to handle the cold weather, no problem, because of those 12-volt heat pads. And the nice thing about Flagstaff's 12-volt heat pads is they're smart heat pads. So on the Nobo and the Surveyor, those weren't smart heat pads. They were actually, you have to turn them on and off manually. Once you flip the switch on these, they actually go on and off on their own. So this is a cool little layout. It's a nice little like fishing trailer or hunting trailer, because if you have a buddy that comes along, you don't want to tell people you're sleeping with them. You got your own bed on both sides. Or if you're out with a significant other, you could put that middle leaf right there on there. Then you got a king size bed. They used to make this layout with like the most obnoxious table. So I'm really happy that they got away with it and just kind of gave you a smaller one, because the last one was a pain in the butt to set up. Now, once you get up to a Flagstaff, all your wood, cabinetry is real wood. So on the Nobos and the Surveyors, it is a wrapped material. I haven't seen Surveyor or Nobo pill, but I have seen like a Springdale trailer pill, and it's like brand new. So just something to consider. You do have your convection oven right there with your 3-burner cooktop. In the microlights, you will get Magic Chef appliances. In the E-Pros, it's kind of like a bunch of other brands, like a Suburban, and then whatever that is, High Point. And then the other difference between a microlight and an E-Pro is your ceilings aren't as high. So this does have lower ceilings, but it is rounded. So remember I said the Surveyor and Nobo were flat? This will have a nice vaulted ceiling. So it just makes it feel a little more roomy in here. maybe help with the snow kind of flowing off on the outside. Now, this is great. This is what I need at home, so that way I get to work on time. You can do everything at once in this bathroom. Look at that. It's called a wet bath. Some people don't like it, but if you want a small compact trailer, that's the way to do it. And then you got a little bit of storage right here to hide those toiletries. So that's what you call a wet bath. And then this does have the shower miser. So a nice little feature. The way you waste a lot of water when you're dry camping is the shower, because you stick your hand out, you're waiting for that water to get hot. With this, you just flip that little thing down, and then it'll circulate through the lines, and that blue thing will turn a grayish color, so then you know it's hot. Then you turn it up, and then it'll spit the water out. Really great feature. It looks like your refrigerator is Magic Chef, which is pretty nice. This is a 10 cubic foot, 8 cubic foot, looks like. I love the 12-volt fridges. They cool so fast. And then I always like to show this. I love Flagstaff because they actually give you a real manual for your trailer. Nowadays, it's all the barcode. There's literally 2 employees at Flagstaff, these 2 women that build every single packet for the Flagstaffs or Rockwoods, and it's VIN specific. So it goes exactly to this trailer. And I really like that it has all the loose parts. Literally every single part on this trailer is in this manual. So if you ever need anything, it's got the serial numbers already there ready to go. You could call in. They just make it super easy for the customer. That's why I really like Flagstaff. They even measure it out for you too in this, but just a small little thing that I do enjoy that they do for you guys. And they even include touch-up paint in that little bag right there. So you'll get touch-up paint for the whole trailer. Pretty nice. But a nice little layout. This will be aluminum framed as well. So 6-side aluminum framing, but I always explain this to you guys, Flagstaff goes even further with their aluminum framing. So under the dinettes of most trailers, it's going to be wood. Not very many companies do this. See under your dinette how it's all aluminum right there? All aluminum right there. So it's all, literally anything you sit on, stand on, or walk on is going to be aluminum framed. And then your windows are frameless. I do like that. So there's no rubber gasket. See how this one has the rubber gasket? It's just something that, over time it gets a little brittle. You also don't have to worry about black streaks, over the time of owning it. But there is a drawback to these windows, and let me show you real quick. It's not a drawback to me because I don't really care that much, but these windows open differently. So whereas the other ones, you can literally open them side to side. See that? So that's how much they open. Just to give you an idea, I've never shown that before. Whereas on these windows, you could slide them all the way open. It is nice though, because if you accidentally leave a window open, you're not going to get rain in here if it starts raining or anything. And then once you have that max air vent going, yeah, what's up, Norman? It's almost dinner time for me too. And it's my Friday. So once you put that max air vent on, it's crazy how good these work. If you don't want to run your AC, just crack the windows and then it'll really circulate that air. If you've ever seen a hybrid, it's basically a pop-up mixed with a travel trailer. So the canvas side, these things are so strong. When you turn it on, it'll actually suck the canvas in to help you put the wall up on a hybrid. So they are not chintzy little max air vents. Looking at a price on this bad boy, I sell a ton of this floor plan. What the heck? Okay, so this is a 25. You're looking at 31 down to 24,995. And I explained the pricing in the beginning about the prep and freight and all that stuff. Just if you want to rewatch the video, because it's a little harder since you're not here. You don't get the whole thing. But really nice layout. You also have your off-road tires. It's got a little bit of a lift to it. And because it is a 25, you will get that outside griddle that hooks on right here. It's got balancing beads in the tires, so it'll keep your tires balanced. It'll increase tread life. Another thing this has is it actually has never adjust brakes by Dexter. A lot of people don't know this. I didn't even know it until 3 years ago. You're supposed to adjust your brakes after 250, 300 miles. And I guarantee you the people delivering these are not adjusting it when it gets to the dealership. Honestly, I've never seen anyone adjust their brakes, so don't get too hung up on it, but it's cool because these will self-adjust. And they say it increases stopping power significantly, and that's pretty important when you're going up and down over mountain passes. And then this will have that torsion axle. So instead of leaf spring, it's actually got a torsion axle. So if the beast mode is just way too crazy for you, I like this option because you're still getting that, basically that suspension to absorb a lot of that shock. I love that. That is a great option because personally, like I said, I think that beast mode is just a little too intense for a majority of people, but I still like it because it'll help the trailer a lot. Let's move on to another one. That's just a small little guy. We'll show you a 20-foot. They do come with the bike rack too, which is pretty cool. It only holds about 80 pounds, so it's not like it's for electric bikes or anything. And I've been selling these for about 8 years, and I still don't know how it works. I just don't know how you would put 2 bikes on there. It's super confusing. All right, moving on to, let's see, we'll just jump in one of these random ones. Ooh, front kitchen. This is such a nice layout because it's only like 21 feet with dual axle. Some people are just really headstrong on the dual axle. Me personally, I wouldn't care too much, but it is nice because if you get a flat, you're gonna have 3 tires instead of 1, so you can kind of get to off the road safe if you get a flat. So dual axle on a 20-foot trailer, so cool. And it has an outside kitchen. So Flagstaff E-Pro, this is the only couples coach you get an outside kitchen on. Nice little griddle cooktop right there. This does increase the weight significantly though with that second axle. And then I just want to show you this again. This is underneath the bed of a Flagstaff, all aluminum. Whereas on the Surveyor, underneath the beds, it'd be wood. Even on a Nobo, it'd be wood. And you get a ladder. Okay, let's go inside. Real quick, I wanted to show you this too. So remember that composite material I was talking about? Flagstaff does do that, but what's cool about Flagstaff compared to Nobo and Surveyor is they double layer it. So they actually put it on the outside walls and the inside walls. So just kind of a little bit of improvement, extra barriers. Front kitchen. Front kitchens do get a little heavier for the tongue weight. Just keep that in mind. But this is an awesome layout. Always get a lot of counter space on a front kitchen. I would have liked a bigger sink, I think, because the amount of counter space you get is a lot. So a little bit of a bigger sink would have been pretty cool. Got your 12-volt fridge. On all of the E-Pros, you're going to get a Schwintek slide, but I hear on the 26s, they're using a new slide system, and I'm drawing a blank on what it is. I can't remember. If you guys know, leave a comment. I need to learn more about that slide system. But you got your couch right here that does fold into a bed, and that table does swivel. You just got to be careful because when you put this slide in, you can tow this with your GMC for sure. Yeah, this I didn't even tell you the weight. Let me do that for you. This layout is amazing. So 21 feet 2 inches and 4,192 pounds. That would be perfect. Yeah, you could tow this no problem. Your cargo is 1,200. You'd probably put about 600 to 800 pounds in this thing. That would be very nice. So you'll get a Schwintek slide on all of the E-Pros, and then on the Microlights you'll usually get the rack and pinion. Yeah, the bed. That's the only thing. Seriously, that's the only complaint I get on this layout is the bed. I love it so much, I think I could live with it. And it's a 60 by 80 queen bed. Like, look how cool all the windows are. How awesome would it be to, because when you go to a place, you're going to be backing up into a nice campground. Maybe you're seeing the ocean or the forest. How cool would it be to wake up and have all those windows? You know which layout I like, Joe? Is this, it's going to be called a 20BS, I think. It's a Flagstaff E-Pro. It looks amazing. It looks like a Flagstaff Microlight, but in an E-Pro. And what's cool about it is they give you a slide. It almost kind of looks like this, maybe a little bit different, but the back will actually have a private room and the bed slides out. So you can still walk around the bed. It's going to be awesome. I should have it here probably by January. Then you do have your bunk up top. Definitely don't know how many people actually use that for sleeping, but I do like that you can use it for storage because see how there's like a little lip right here? So you can put like bins up here Or maybe the grandchild comes once in a while. They got their own place up there, just as long as he doesn't roll off on top of you. But yeah, I like the windows in the back. It's awesome. The micro lights will have a much more spacious shower. That's the only drawback to the E-Pros. You are getting that porcelain throne, so it's going to stay quiet or clean, and it won't make noise when you go to sit on it. And then I'll show you too. Watch. Okay, so if I get in here, a little bit tighter. See that? I'm 5'7". The skylight does help, but like me personally, I could live with this, but I would imagine if you're not as like if you're bigger, this might be kind of tight, a little bit tight. And then it does have a step up. The other day I was we were on the live and I was like, why the heck do they put tubs in couples coaches? You're going to take a bath and read a book, have a glass of wine. But someone said, I just wash my clothes in it. I was like, that's actually a decent idea. But it does have an 18-inch step up from here to the floor. But I do love me a front kitchen. Your AC is going to be a 13,500 BTU air conditioner, whereas in the microlight, you're going to get a 15,000. And then also the microlights, it'll be ducted. So this isn't going to be ducted. And the other thing I like about this layout a lot is it actually has a perfect travel mode trailer. When this slide is in, you can still get to the bathroom. If you want to stop off, take a nap, you can still get to the bed. And obviously very easy to come in and load the fridge up, or if you want to make sandwiches. So all around, I think this is a great layout, and I love that it's dual axle. Now we're at 38, down to 32,995. Pretty nice. Let's go to a micro light. 18 weeks of doing this. I haven't missed a week yet, and I don't think I'll be able to do next Sunday's live. I don't know what day that falls on. It depends on what day it falls on. That might be one of the only lives I missed since I started. Ooh, you're new here. Thank you for joining. You're going to learn a lot of stuff here. I promise you. The goal of these is to kind of make it less confusing for you when you go out to a dealership. Also, you're going to learn so much. You'll be able to go to a dealership and be like, I don't even need a sales guy. It's probably no more than the sales guy. Awesome, Jennifer. I appreciate you coming on. So I'll show you the next step up from a microlight to so if the E-Pro is too small, this is the next step up. Well, I'm lying. There's one that's a little bit smaller, but the layout is the exact same floor plan. Just some small changes. So let me find this one. Yeah, if the last one is just a little too small, like maybe you want more interior height, this is a nice option. Okay. So that's good. That's good to hear because I feel like I repeat myself a lot. You guys have a good Christmas, Norman. Great weather out there in Florida. It's probably nice. Jelly. Actually, I'm going to tell you, I think our weather might be a little bit better right now. It is perfect. It's not humid, of course. The weather is nice to just have a t-shirt on, go for a run. So this is the next step up, Flagstaff microlight. Also, this is going to be an 8-foot wide box. So on the E-Pros, you're getting 7.5 feet wide. Now when you jump up to the microlight, you're going to get an 8-foot wide box. And if we come over here, now you're jumping up to the rack and pinion slide system. Like I said, there is one model that is like a foot shorter than this, and it's the 21F BRS. And I'll explain what's different from that one to this one. I personally would get this one over the 21F BRS, and I'll explain why. All right. Oh yeah, and remember those steps I showed you if you've been here that long? They just plop down. Look how strong I am. One finger. And they hold themselves up. So small little details. It does have a gas strut on it. So 60 pounds of metal right there. You know, the last thing you want to do is drop that thing on your poodle. That's what I was thinking. That's what continues to make me keep coming onto these lives, because like when I think about, you know, something that I'm learning or getting into, it takes me a while to learn it. And like, if I just keep repeating and repeating and repeating this stuff, you'll know everything. 23 feet 10 inches. The 21 FBRS is going to be like 22 feet 10 inches. So it's not much bigger. And then it's 5,200 pounds. The 21 FBRS is going to be like in the 4,800 pound range because the slide is smaller and of course it's a little shorter. But this is the ultimate layout. I love this. This is probably what I would go with, and a Tundra. That's like a dream setup for sure. Let me put that down so it looks good. This is the best layout in my opinion. There's a few things that some people can't live with, but I'll show you what I hear. So on the 21 FBRS, instead of the theater seating, you're going to get that trifold sofa. And I'm telling you, these are like night and day better if you're wanting comfort. They are super comfortable versus the one that's just the 20, like the trifold. Getting too pricey, huh? Let's see. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was telling you. Like, if you don't need like the crazy suspension, that's why I really like the Surveyors too. Because if you still want like the quality of construction, like you don't want a cheap trailer, but you also don't want to spend like a Flagstaff price, that's always a nice option because you're still getting the aluminum framing. You're still getting the composite wall instead of Luan. You're also getting solar, which is, I think, is a must now because of the 12-volt refrigerators. And you're still getting tank heaters, so if you want to camp in cold weather. So Surveyor is a really great option. So like I said, this will have the better couches, also bigger, deeper slide, so you do get a lot more floor space in this layout. And then you don't get a fireplace in the 21 FBRS or this little like kind of workstation, which I really like that. That's nice. Yeah, when you're looking at travel trailers, I always tell you guys this, there is no wrong trailer to buy. You just got to think about how often you're going to use it, where you're going to use it, what time of year you're going to use it. Because the last thing you want to do is go spend, 40 grand and you take it out maybe 6 times a year, unless you just can afford it and you, if you want the best. So 60 by 74 queen size bed. So this is an RV queen. Actually, I lied. This is 60 by 80. The 21 FBRS will be 60 by 74. And then if we lift this, look at that. All aluminum framed on the front of the bed. And you got to imagine, when you go to put your shoes on, a lot of times you sit on the front of the bed. And I have seen, the thinner wood frame trailers, they do crack. So this will have 200 watts of solar and 1800 watt inverter, just like the Microlight or the ePro. So they'll all have that same power supply or the solar. And if you notice, see how it says inverter circuit on that little sticker right there? That means that all of your outlets are hot and they're tied into the inverter. So if you have a CPAP machine or anything like that, it's really nice because you have plenty of space for that. I know that a lot of people use that. Again, all real wood cabinetry. You do get the nice puck lighting on these. I do like that instead of like the ones that kind of are rounded out. 12-volt TV in all the Flagstaff. So the TV will run without being plugged into a generator or shore power, and it's got all your apps ready to go. Solid surface countertops throughout, whereas on the last trailers I was showing you, even the ePro. The ePro is like a wrapped material, whereas this is solid surface. So just a little better, you're not going to get water into the seams. If I was talking about what I would avoid and I was looking at wrapped countertops, I would avoid the T-molding. So some companies like Shasta, I used to sell Shasta a long time ago. Will the 12-volt stay? Yeah, it'll stay going all the time. Yeah, no worries there. I used to sell Shasta, and they do T-molding. And basically, it's like this rubber gasket or whatever that goes on the cabinetry or on the countertops. That stuff definitely starts to warp over time. So I wouldn't say that the wrapped countertops is like a deal breaker for me, but I would say I don't want that T-molding because it seems like that always starts to get nasty because it's just inevitable for that water to get into, those cracks. So keep an eye out for that. Magic Chef appliances throughout, like I said. So now that you're up to the Microlight, Magic Chef, boom, Magic Chef, Magic Chef. And your 12-volt fridge is Magic Chef. And because you're going to be plugged into your truck, the 7-way plug, that's also going to keep your fridge running. Thank you, Callie. Have a fantastic Christmas. We are almost into 2026. Nice fridge that you can open both ways. Kind of nice if you want to load the fridge from the doorway, or if you want to pull out those trays. See how you wouldn't be able to do it if it didn't do that? So you can open it the other way to kind of clean those over time. You know, they get dirty. And then a little pantry right here. That's great storage. I can't remember if you get this on the 21 FBRS. That alone right there, if you don't get that in the 21 FBRS, that alone would make me want this one more, just because storage does go quick. And then you have another one right there by the door. And your bathroom. It's got the rounded shower. So now, when we get into the shower, tons of room. That's what I was saying. If the E-Pro is just a little too tight, look how much more room I get. A lot more. Where last time it was just like literally that much space. Now you get a lot more height in this microlight. This is the only other thing that, this is probably the only thing I've heard from customers is the toilet is a little bit tighter. I could live with this because I think overall the layout is almost perfect. It's very rarely do I find someone that gets a perfect layout. In the industry, we usually say if you like 80% of the trailer, chances are that's going to be the one that's going to be best for you. Because there's always something in these. And if you noticed, see that's the only thing. It's just that. But like I said, I could live with it. They could have maybe taken that cabinet out and just given you a little more room maybe. I don't know. But then it would make it tighter right here as well. So looking at this is a 2026. You are looking at 45 down to 38,995 for a Flagstaff microlight. So pretty significant jump up from the E-Pro to the microlight. Ooh. All right. Nice layout. Get some water real quick. Ugh. Holidays. I'm not really a holiday kind of person, honestly. Dang, I'm all shaky. Okay. 22 FBS. Oh, nice. You have it. Yeah. Awesome trailer. One of like overall just a perfect layout. And it's like sometimes if you're unsure if you're going to like the layout, sometimes just going with like a common floor plan, you can't go wrong with it. Let's see, anything you guys want to see? Fifth wheels, super lights. Let's look at a classic real quick, show you the difference from that. Or I'll show you, let's go back. One of these is ones I want to show you. Is it this one? I've shown both of these a lot, but I'll show you the difference. And I'm really happy that they did this. So they make this layout in a 20 foot and it is great. Or 25 foot, I'm sorry. And I'll explain what the difference is from a classic. So now we went from a microlight to a classic. We basically just skipped a super light. The classic is going to be higher ceilings on the interior. And then you do get an awning cover, like a shield over your awning, which is nice because it'll protect it. And then on the super lights and the classics, you do get auto level. So if you notice, there's not really a lot of changes in the Flagstaffs. Thank you, Diane. Stay warm. This is 29 feet, 11 inches, and 7,800 pounds. This is a 2024, so if you want to smoke and deal on a classic, I got one. Look at this. Look at all that counter space. And I'll show you the 25 foot after this. It is awesome. Man, actually, now that I'm thinking about the 25 MBR, I almost like that more than the 22 FBS. But if I had to pick a small trailer, it would be the 22 FBS. I do like the countertops on this. See how it has like kind of like that color change in the countertops? The other ones don't have that. Good, decent placement of the TV. This will have two slide outs. They're both going to be the rack and pinion slides. This is a gas electric fridge because it's a 24. So see how it's not as deep, but some people just really love the 12 or the gas electric fridges. You know, if something's not broken, why fix it? If you come back here, it does have James in the house. You've probably seen this layout. But yeah, it got a slide out king size bed. It was a decent tour today. Had some good questions. There's no dumb question. Man, I still learn something new every single day in this industry. It's crazy. Got a decent sized wardrobe and the dual vanity. Look at that. Dual sinks. That's nice, huh? This thing's a beauty. But the 25 MBR, I really like it because it makes it shorter and lighter. And basically the sink, you only get one sink versus two. And me personally, I don't think I need two sinks. My girlfriend would probably want two because I'm a mess. Really nice shower right there. Dang, tons of room. See, when we were in the microlight too. Oh, I don't have to do it that way anymore. I always forget. I could just turn you around. The microlight. Just think about how much space we've been getting as we've been moving up. Look at how much room I have. I could put my arm almost all the way up. Whereas on the microlight or the E-Pro, we had like that much room to spare. And then the microlight, we had a little bit more. And now we're in a classic. So you're getting those really high ceilings. Almost feels like a fifth wheel in here. Very nice. And it actually has a window you can open in the bathroom. I don't know why they don't always do that. Decent storage. Whoop, decent storage for your towels. But yeah, this is a nice layout. I'll show you the 25 MBR after this just to kind of show you the difference. The 25 MBR might be one of my favorite layouts, and I like 22 FBS second. You have a great Christmas, James. Thank you for always jumping on. I appreciate the support. Probably won't go live next Sunday because I'm not sure what day it lands on because it might be like when we're off. So if I'm not, I will see you guys in the new year. But yeah, I like this layout. We'll go to the 25 MBR real quick. This is 70 down to 49,995. Tell me that's not a crazy good deal. 10, almost 20, a little over 20 grand off on this thing. Very nice layout. 2 air conditioners. You're worried about the slide? Yeah, if you watch the replay on this video, I kind of discussed the slides. You'll hear a lot of people like on forums really worried about slides. They have them pretty dialed in now. Like I said, the Schwintek slides, you'll see people saying how they're so bad, but it's because back in the day, they were putting those slide systems on like massive fifth wheels. And that's when you heard a lot about like them messing up. Now, if you notice, a lot of the Schwintek slides are like on really small tow behinds or small slide outs. So I wouldn't be too worried, but I do understand because it is an RV and pretty much anything can happen. If a sales guy tells you that their trailer's perfect and nothing's wrong with it, he's lying to you. Some of these sales guys, I had a customer come in the other day and he was saying how the sales guy next door at Camping World was like, oh, surveyors are junk. And then he just set himself up to look like a complete fool because no trailer's perfect. They ended up going into a trailer and then the guy said, he said, we don't sell junk. That's what he told the guy. And then they went into a Jayco or something and there was a bunch of trim hanging off and the customer said, oh, you don't sell junk, huh? That's why you do not bash. You never bash other brands. You don't bash other dealerships because it just makes you look stupid. I always encourage people to look around. That's how confident I am in our products. There's a very low bar to hit in this industry. Like the minimum, a lot of sales guys don't really do much. So it's easy to go above and beyond. Superlight 2330 FKT. Yeah, I do have it. I will show that to you after that. FKT. Yeah, that layout is awesome. I show it every week because I love it so much. 25 MBR, same layout as the last one, but check it out. 6,265 pounds and only 25 feet 10 inches. Ooh, this is a tough one. I think I do like, this might be my favorite microlight. It's not too big, but it's big enough to feel like, wow, it feels good in here. This is like a hotel suite on wheels. Same layout. This is a 26, so you are getting the Magic Chef appliances with the 12-volt fridge, 2 air conditioners. If you live in a hot state, definitely make sure you get the second air conditioner, because when I'm doing these long form tours in the middle of summer and it has only 1 air conditioner with 2 bedrooms, I can usually only get it down to about 75, 77 degrees. So if you're, do not skimp on that. Like if you live in a hot place, just get the second AC, because you're going to be super annoyed if you have to add it later, especially if it's not a 50 amp service and it's only 30 amp, then you're really screwed. So that's like one thing I would say, just get what you want to be comfortable, because if you're not comfortable in the trailer, you're never going to use it. You know, the easier it is to load up and go, the more you're going to use it. The more comfortable you're in it, the more happy you're going to be to go use it. If you kind of like compromise too much on something that you really want when it comes to an RV, it's just going to be annoying. And sometimes you want this to be the last one. You don't want to be trading in every couple years. I have customers that do that. It's crazy. But that's what these videos are for, to hopefully get you guys ready. So when you go to a dealership, hopefully us, you'll know what to look for and what you want. 2026, 50 down to 42,995. And like I said, we'll go to the next one after this. You do not need to live here in New Mexico to get our sales tax. Nah, you don't need to upgrade the truck. You could get a nice trailer with the weight you can tow. But yeah, you don't need our sales, or you don't need to live here in New Mexico to get our sales tax, which is 4%. Some cities, some places, you'll have city and county multipliers. So make sure you look at that, because they'll have a base tax and then it'll be more depending on the county you live in. So here it's called, what it's called is called the Sunshine Law. One of the only states in the country that does it, where you can get our sales tax 4%. And when the cool thing is you can actually re-register it here every single year. And basically you could do it online, and they go off of the dry weight to register it, which is significantly less than, you know, registering it on the price. So to register something like the size I'm showing you, it might be like 35 to 75 bucks a year to re-register the trailer. So you're going to save thousands on the initial taxes, and then you're going to save thousands down the road just re-registering it here. So if this is your last trailer, it might be the way to go. There is a video down below in the description after I upload it, and it'll be more in depth. I did a video on the sales tax. That way you guys can learn more, because I don't want to bore you guys that come every week. I say the same thing every week. So I always got to end it on one of these ones. If you want to see anything else after this, let me know. I got a little bit of time. 30 FKT, one of the coolest layouts they have come out with this year. It actually has higher ceilings, and the weight of this thing is insane. It is only 6,138 pounds and 29 feet 10 inches. That's crazy. That's super lightweight, and 2,300 pounds of cargo. Perfect example to show you guys why you can't just go off GVWR, because that is an insane amount of cargo. And if you go off the GVWR, you're looking at almost 9,000 pounds loaded, and you're not going to come anywhere near that, because you're probably going to put about 800 pounds in this thing. Woo, boy, look at that. And if I told you it didn't have a slide, you wouldn't believe me. So they actually did 101-inch interior width versus 96. So the interior is much wider than a normal trailer, so it doesn't feel like there's not a slide in this thing. It feels like it has a slide. And then your table actually folds down, kind of like a Murphy bed, into the wall. So you can fold the chairs too. Everything folds. So you could put that all away if you want. You got your theater seating, and I think they're positioned awesome because it's right in front of the big flat screen TV. And then you can actually put it down, and then it goes into the countertop. And then you have a massive window to look out. How cool would that be? Be so cool to like park it in a nice spot and have that big window. Front kitchen, like I said, they do tend to have a much higher tongue weight on these. Magic Chef appliances throughout. And you do have a king size bed in a trailer without a slide out. That is a huge plus. And I'm pretty positive it is a residential king too. Lots of storage, 2 air conditioners. Of course, it still has that 200 watts of solar and 1,800 watt inverter. Nice big bathroom, plenty of space in here. You got a lot of height because of those taller ceilings. Overall, nice layout. I like when the bathroom's in the middle because if you shower and you want a little privacy, you could still come into the bedroom without having to walk through the entire trailer. Lots of storage. You always, if you like kitchens, the front kitchen's the way to go because you're going to get the most amount of counter space and the most pantry space and drawers. 2026, you're looking at 52 down to 44,995. Awesome layout. I'll turn you around. All right. It's getting dark. 30 FKT. So you notice there isn't a huge difference from an E-Pro to a Classic because you're still getting that same quality all the way through. Just some small details. That's why I like to go through all of them. That way you guys know, like, if you're getting a Flagstaff, you're going to get a good quality trailer. Also, if you're looking online, you got to be very careful because you'll see very, very cheap trailers out there, especially ones I'm showing you. And a lot of times when they're close to like Indiana, these dealerships will order these trailers like super stripped down. And it does not have the same features and options as the ones I'm showing you. So definitely, if you want me to price match, I can always try to do that. The only thing we require is that you like get a buyer's order and then we see that it has the same options and features. So that way we're comparing apples to apples because you can find these stripped down. And if you're going to be wanting a Flagstaff, you don't really want it stripped down. Also, there'll be a link down below in the description. If you could, leave a 5-star review if you think I deserved it, if you got any benefit out of my videos. I know a lot of you guys have done it. I really appreciate it. I'm not sure why Google is deleting some of them. Or you could type in Albuquerque RV and leave a review. It helps me so much. Like, I spend a lot of time out here with you guys, and I get customers that come in because of the reviews you left. So you might not be able to buy from me because it's too far, but that will help me out a lot. It also shows the owner that I'm not out here wasting my time staring at the screen and talking to it like a crazy person. So I'll leave a link for that, for the Google review down below, or type in Albuquerque RV. And then also check out the video on the sales tax because I didn't go as in depth like I normally do. So check that out, and I'm gonna go show you the sticker real quick. That way you know how to spell it if you wanna help your boy out. All right. Whoa. Just ran over a cone. So if you wanna help me out, there's how you spell the weirdest city in the world. Yes, this is where Breaking Bad was filmed. And I always tell people it was not a TV show. It was actually a documentary of how it is here. It is nuts. Albuquerque RV. Norman, I know you did it. I appreciate the 5-star review. All you guys that have done that, help me out. And we'll be back. I hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas, New Year. If I don't see you guys, we'll be in 2026. I'll miss you guys while I'm gone. And then we'll come back hard with a lot of long form tours and the lives. I appreciate you guys, and you guys have a great evening. Time to relax.